Ladies and gentlemen, this is an important message from the Talking Pucks TV team. We're back for episode 3, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining us. Let's go. All right, my name is Moise. We're here with Fawad, Hamza, and Amel. So pleased to have you on the show today. And let's get started. So we have an action-packed episode for everyone today. Yeah. We have our normal kind of regular content. We have our court vision. We do our game analysis. We have our stat central station, where we talk about point leaders, rebound leaders, and everything else. Then we have our interactive segment here, where you include your hot takes, your start bench cuts, and everything else, and your hot topics as well. And finally, we finish up with draft wars here. So let's get started. We're also going to talk about the All-Star game today, so stay tuned for that. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us once again. We are going to start our segment off today with Court Vision. Court Vision is something new we started last week. Really excited to get started. So, Paul, you want to take us away with your first game?
Start off. So I'm going to be talking about Magic versus the Raptors. That just happened 3 days ago. So the score was 109-93. Very great game. Raptors, they weren't playing really well. They gave up around 37 points in the first quarter, and they only dropped 29 points. But as the game went on, they took the lead and beat the Orlando Magic, a pretty good team this season.
Nice. Love the Raptors. Anyone on the Raptors want to come on the show, let us know. We got a seat open for you guys. What do you guys think was like kind of the fundamental thing for that game? How they kind of came back and won that game?
I think it was just the teamwork, like I said last week too. Teamwork, that they have such good chemistry between them that they can make assists and will work out to get buckets.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we already know that team chemistry is important. Teamwork, collaboration, assists go a long way. So I just think that having that as a fundamental will be good for
especially like defense and stuff like that.
Yeah. What were the defensive boards looking like and all that stuff there? Or offensive boards, sorry. Were they crashing the boards as much as they should have?
I think they were. I just can't remember.
Because I feel like those second chance points are huge for like kind of making that game turn around.
Oh, sure. Kelly Hill had a big game too.
Yeah. Very nice. Who do you think kind of stood out the most other than Kelly?
Bruce Brown, Scotty Barnes, RJ Barrett.
And do you think
the entire team?
That's what it is, right? With the Raptors, you're gonna have like team chemistry that's just off the charts, right? You're gonna have chemistry that's like tight knit, and they're just like a young group of guys. I hope the Raptors gonna keep them together with that.
Everyone's healthy.
Two-game winning streak right now. Yeah. Playing tonight, 7:30.
Yeah, let's see it. So hopefully they kind of carry keep on. You know who they played tonight?
Atlanta.
Nice. All right, so that's a good kind of summary for that. One thing I do want to point out, though, I feel the main thing they lack is kind of focus. For a couple of players, just because they're young, I feel like Scotty Barnes, he has huge potential. I know like he's not huge in that game, but I think he has the potential to be huge, and I feel like everyone else on that team as well. Just the focus and making sure they're training, and I'm not saying that they're not training and working hard, but having that overall focus and that drive and that mentality, I feel like they can go really far just as themselves without kind of making crazy trades.
But Scotty's averaging like doubles almost every game.
Yeah, absolutely.
Solid.
All right, Emily, you want to go into your game?
All right, so for my game, I chose Cavs versus 76ers. This game happened a couple days ago. It was a close game with Cavs leading the whole game, but ended up with the 76ers win, which is surprising. And also, at the end of the game, you could see the 76ers mascot going this behind, I forget the player's name, but it was a crucial inbound, but he was going this behind, and he caused the other player to throw it out of bounds.
Defense by the mascot.
Defense mascot. That's
They should sign him.
They should sign him. Yeah, 10-day contract, right? What do you guys think of that game? I didn't get a chance to catch it there.
It was a pretty good game. Cavs were playing well, but near the end, like last quarter, they gave up their lead. 76ers dropped many points last quarter, took over the lead, and dominated through.
No, it's just good basketball, right? Like it's the thing is like it's staying in until it's the final buzzer, right? So if we keep that mentality going, I feel like any team's gonna go far.
It's all about just bringing the effort to like every second. Unless it's like a huge blowout lead and it's like, we already won. Yeah. But at the end of the day, you can still have like
you can still make it effort, because it really comes down to a matter of seconds, right? If you look at Team Mac back in the day, how many points was it?
10, 12 points in the last like 30 seconds.
Someone had a recent game like that too. I feel
it was Dame. Dame scored 6 points in 1.1 second, which is
that's insane.
Unimaginable.
That's insane. Would you rank that above Team Mac?
No.
Yeah.
I wouldn't.
You have to realize 1.1 seconds is a lot shorter, and that means that he made 2 threes in 1.1 seconds. Whereas T Mac made.
Was that for like a win or something, or was it for?
Yeah, it was for the win. Yeah, it was like a buzzer beater. The last one was buzzer beater, but the first 3 was just
to get him back in the game.
Yeah, and then T Max was just He was 13 points in 30 seconds, which is still like
That's
very
insane.
good. It's still very good. I'm not saying it's bad, but
He
it's
did
just
by himself too. No hope by his teammates.
Which-
Most of all the steals and stuff.
it's the Dame is just different.
Hey man, if that's a hot take topic for another day, we'll talk about that. Overall, really solid games throughout the NBA this week. I covered the Lakers and Clippers this week. That was the first game they had. What's the name of the dome again? It was the Inuit Dome. Yeah, that's the first game the Lakers had in the Inuit Dome against Clippers. So we're seeing a change in scenery in the NBA, which is really nice. But in terms of the game was pretty close until the kind of second half there. Correct me if I'm wrong, but everyone was playing well. Kawhi was healthy. Kawhi being healthy is dangerous, guys. That's a dangerous being. Because the way he was locking up LeBron right from tip off, I just knew it would be a dangerous game. He played a really good job. Really, he's not flashy. He's not a flashy guy. But he gets the job done, and he gets it done well. Overall,
He's a humble guy.
Oh, guy, exactly. Overall, Clippers came away with the win. It was a bit of a blowout near the end of the third, beginning in the fourth, and that's why I kind of mentioned that you really got to play to the end. I know sometimes it's tempting not to, but even though they were kind of getting blown out, the Clippers had kind of a 10-point differential throughout the entire game, but they were able to kind of keep that, and I feel like the intensity just wasn't there from the Lakers. But overall, fun game to watch. It's always nice seeing James Harden on the court.
Yeah.
That was our last week turnover leader. I think we have a new one this year, this week at least. So let's see how this goes. Hopefully, it'd be interesting seeing a new kind of different dynamic in the league. I know we're talking a lot about the younger guys kind of taking over the playoffs and all that stuff, but in terms of this game specifically, it was nice to kind of see the older guys get back into it.
Yeah.
Kawhi, James Harden.
Yeah.
So it was good to see Kawhi back after a long
100%.
injury.
Yeah.
Missed the mid range. Can't beat that.
I just miss the defense, bro. He's locking him up from half court at the beginning of the game.
It's just, no one else does that. No one does that.
Yeah, he's like that for real. Yeah.
He just knows the threat. So he's
some could say that Kawhi Leonard is our cameraman just because he never talks.
Yeah.
You would never
might
know.
be.
You never know.
You never know.
You never know.
Yeah.
Shout out Kawhi. Anyways, I'm going to finish up Stat Central, Court Vision.
Yeah, so we are doing. Oh, I watched the Grizzlies versus Timberwolves. It was a very close game. So Timberwolves pretty much took the lead from first quarter, from tip off all the way up till 8 minutes into the fourth, and then the Grizzlies were neck and neck with them. They tied it at 100, and then Grizzlies took over. They made good buckets. There were some crazy hustles, steals, defensive stops. It was insane. And then
Timberwolves.
Grizzlies took the win by 108 over 106.
I know you're happy about that. I know you're very happy about
It's
that.
very good. Although, so stat breakdown over there was Ja didn't have that much points. He just was there. His presence was good enough. He scored 19 points, 4 assists.
That's a lot.
That is, yeah, but I see what he means. I was gonna say the exact same thing,
But in comparison, you have Anthony Edwards.
in comparison to Hamza's 100-point games with John 2K, that's nothing.
When you have Anthony Edwards, right? Anthony Edwards dropped 32 points and 4 assists, I think, 4 rebounds as well. So he didn't take the win, but it was still a good amount of effort he put in.
I love Anthony Edwards' kind of killer instinct in that case. I love how intense he is. I love the winning spirit behind him because a lot of players kind of lack that today, right? A lot of players just come out and play the game. I'm not taking it away from anything else, but his is exemplary. It's just outshining everyone else, in my opinion. And it's what we need, especially for kind of bringing and revitalizing the All-Star game. I think that's so important to have that killer instinct, that desire, that drive, necessity to win.
Yeah. So just to finish off, so every player on the Grizzlies scored at least one stat. So 12 players played, and every player at least scored 1 point or 1 assist or 1 rebound, which is insane because usually players, they don't get the ball, they don't get assists, whatever. So that's a very surprising stat.
Teamwork.
So Jaren Jackson Jr., right, dropping a double-double, carrying a team along with Desmond Bain and taking a win. And then against them was Naz Reid, right?
Naz
6
Reid.
man of the year last year.
6 man of the year. You dropped a good amount. I think you dropped a double-double as well, 20-point double-double. So
that's tough.
I think it was close to 30 actually. So
Really?
wow, it's pretty insane. But they still took away the loss. So at the end of the day, it was a good example of you guys were saying before. It's just effort all the way to the end because it was neck and neck till fourth quarter, 3 minutes left, and then it was still neck and neck all the way up to the last minute. They kept trying to take shots. They kept trying to take defensive steals. Right? It was just a good game in
And
general.
that's what makes basketball fun. Watching
Exactly.
like competition, neck and neck, playing hard neck and neck. That's fun.
Yeah.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
that's what makes it great. What do you guys think can kind of like deter, or not deter, but kind of determine who wins the game? I know it's obviously it's whoever scores more points, but what's kind of the driving factor? Is it conditioning? Is it the mentality? What do you think is the single greatest driving factor for that?
I think it's the mentality of
Mentality?
how the player is before, during the game, and after.
Yeah, because in those clutch moments when the game's close and you're like tired and you're breathing heavy, what is it? You think it's mentality mainly?
It's definitely mentality. It's like you're either gonna at the end of fourth or at the end of third, and you're tired. You've been playing the entire game, right? And you just don't, and you have to win this game. Like you want to win this game. It's the desire that helps you finish the game
For
and
sure.
finish it strong, right? Even the conditioning is like, okay, I'm good. I can do this. But if your brain's telling you can't do this, you're not gonna be able to do this, right?
Beautifully said, yeah. Yeah, and I think the mentality goes beyond just the basketball court itself. Like besides the NBA game, you have to have that same mentality in the weight room and the court and the practice courts and the scrimmages and all that.
Sure.
Because once you kind of have those reps in the actual mentality reps, I guess, or like the mental reps, you're able to kind of replicate that game, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Overall, great week in the NBA. If there's any games you guys want us to cover, I'll put up a poll on our Instagram, Talking Buckets TV, that you can kind of vote on, and one of us will cover that game for you, and we'll kind of talk about that in depth. And we'd love to hear your analysis too. So put in the comments below. We'll be right back with this short break to cover our Stat Central station, where we talk about our stat leaders, our stat sweep, our playoff picture, as well as a couple of All-Star game kind of news more so and announcements there. So let's get started on that.
Welcome back, everyone, to the next segment, Stat Central Station. So we're going to be talking about the top 5 plays of the week. Starting at number 5, we have Damian Lillard, 6 points in 1.1 seconds. It's crazy.
That's just insane.
Crazy.
Yeah, think about it.
We had some crazy plays this week, and that's number 5. I know you guys were supposed to make this list. That's because we talked about that a little bit earlier in our previous segment, and I'm excited to see what else is on this list.
Yeah.
So, number 4, rookie v. rookie. Yavis Missy dunks over Zach Edey. Big man.
That's
Big man thing, yeah. Big man. Anyways, continue.
What team is the player on?
Pelicans versus Grizzlies.
Very nice.
So Zion.
Zach Edey's like, bro, Zach Edey's like
7'4",
7'4",
like 1B, but
and he's like
bigger.
huge. He's like
Yeah.
big. He's like
From Toronto, too.
Canadian.
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 That's, you got to see over the snow clouds. You know, he's gonna be.
Yeah.
See that.
Yeah.
All right, number 3. Humza, you want to take that?
Number 3, we got Jason Tatum's game-winning step back 3
We did it.
to beat the Clippers, which is
That's
pretty
good.
solid. Which is valid. It's a good number
Big
3.
Clippers talk today. You know, big Clippers talk this
Hey,
week.
they're coming up. They're coming back up.
Yeah.
All right, number 2. We got number 2.
Number 2, we got Cade Cunningham dunk over 3 Rockets players.
Ooh,
3 is
holy.
insane. 3 is insane.
Holy.
Bro, this guy just plays farther than everyone, bro. I remember when he kind of first came to the league, everyone was like, he'll be okay. He's going to be a bust, whatever. Look at him now. Doing well. For Detroit and all that.
It's pretty solid. Pretty solid.
And number
For sure.
1. Number 1, we got the Joker. Who wants to cover that one?
You got it.
Yeah.
All right. Number 1, we have Jokic, the Joker. One of the coldest players in the league right now. I'm not going to lie. Doesn't get enough recognition right now given Shea's aura. But Jokic, full court heave to beat the third quarter bell.
Ooh, wow.
And
Buzzer.
not a buzzer, yeah, bell buzzer, whatever it may be. But let's talk about not only the shot, not only the heave, but the walk off after.
Reaction.
The walk off after, ladies and gentlemen.
Celebration.
That
No
gave-
reaction.
That gave
Wow.
Derrick Rose vibes, bro. Like, what are we talking about here? That just made it easily number 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so nonchalant. He just wants to go race his horses, bro. You know, I feel bad for his horses sometimes because how big do these horses got to be? How
Yeah.
tall is he?
They're not ponies.
Like,
so they're
Yeah, but they might be a pony in front of him, bro. Like,
Yeah.
That's
He's
it.
a
That's
big
it.
one.
Anyways, that concludes top 5 players of the week. You guys want to talk about the players of the week? Who wants to cover the West? But you want to
I
take
got
that?
it. So for the West,
Mm.
Mr. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander from the OKC Thunder. In the last 2 games that he's played just this week, he's averaged 40.5 points per game, 8 rebounds per game, and 7.5 assists per game.
And this is over the last 2 games.
The
What
last 2
is
games
this
he's
guy
played this
on?
week.
I don't think
What is
secret
this guy
juice, bro.
on?
Secret
I
sauce
think
from
one game he
Station.
had like 36 or something like that, and then that second game versus Utah, he had like 54 or something.
That's insane.
Do you guys think he's gonna win MVP? Or
Yeah,
MVP
for sure.
Yeah.
Oh.
He's been on our stat sweeper player of the week, number one the
For a
whole
while
time.
now. And
Yeah.
points, he's leading the NBA in points.
Yeah. And what do you
I
guys think
guess.
goes into kind of winning the MVP overall? Because I know that Curry won it unanimously a couple years ago, and then we had Giannis a couple times, and we had Joel. Did we do it?
Yeah, Joel,
Yeah, you got
Nikola
James
Jokic,
Harden.
So
Russ.
I don't think there's a really clear indicator of what MVP really looks like, right? Like it's not stats, it's not really like playoff picture either. It's more so just overall contribution to the team, right?
I mean, it is stats. It's like most points. It's not most points. You have to remember that. It's like most well-rounded player and the most impact that they can
Impactful,
do.
yeah.
It's more impact. It's like when this guy's playing, it's almost a guaranteed win. Or
It's a
sort
game
of.
changer, yeah.
Like right now, we're going to be talking about this later too. OKC is tied for first in the league with the Cavs in the standings.
That's actually impressive because Cavs are going up there like they had like a six game lead. Just Cavs be going down a little bit, and then
OKC's
OKC
going
being crazy.
It's all about the matchups. We talked about that last week too in the episode where I talked about how basketball's not really who's the better team. It's more so who's the better matchup, right? So I feel like a lot of times it's less about who am I playing versus what's the team dynamic. Well, how are they running the court? How are they kind of stretching the bigs? All that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then from the East, who wants to cover that?
From the East, we got the Greek freak Giannis with 29 points per game, 13 rebounds, and 5 assists.
Very
That's
solid. I love that rebounding percentage, bro. You guys know I love my rebounds, I love my defensive plays and all that stuff. And I know he's like 7 feet tall, but like having that contribution of like running the court, but also grabbing those boards is huge.
Yeah, you know, it's important. He plays a power forward position as well as like a small forward position.
He plays
He's just like a good scorer. He's a good
he's
rebounder.
a point center, bro.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much.
Yeah. If you guys had to choose to build a team around either SGA or Giannis for the next 5 years starting now in today's NBA, who would it be?
That's
Yeah, SGA.
Yeah.
Because Giannis, he's already in like his, he was drafted 2013, so he's like in his like 10, 12, 13
Wow.
year. And SGA, he's only in like his like 6th, 7th year. So
Yeah.
there's like a major difference in time.
That makes sense, yeah. And I feel like obviously like I'd be gravitated just towards the bigger guy, but I think you're right. Age has a major kind of change overall because obviously he has not a few years left, but his prime is obviously kind of dwindling at the end. But I agree. Finally, let's go on to our stat sweep. So points per game. We have Mr. Aura himself, SGA. These are all updated here, right? 32 points per game for the season so far. These are season points as we speak. Moving on to assists, we have Trae Young with 11.7. We love that. He's been the assist leader for quite some time, right? The last 3 episodes. Rebounds, Sabonis again. Love that guy. He puts in that work, bro. He puts in his work. 14.4 rebounds per game.
Over 0.4 rebounds more.
Exactly. So 10.5 defensive, 3.9 offensive. Just love that. Steals, Dyson Daniels. We talked about that guy last week. Love that defensive effort because I feel like that defensive effort is not really kind of identified or not recognized and kind of praised in today's NBA, right? It has such a big impact. The blocks, guys. Ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about the defense. If possible, probably the defensive player of the year.
Yeah.
Mr. Alien, Mr. Mr. Victor Wembanyama. 4 blocks per game, ladies and gentlemen. 4 blocks per game. Can you believe that? We talked about he had 4.1 last week.
Yeah.
Some of that. Regardless,
Consistent.
he's consistency, bro. If you are blocking 4 players a game, that's a block a quarter. And then there's also deflections that they don't count. There's all this stuff. And I just love that, bro. I know he's 7'20", but we gotta love this guy, bro. Come
He would have
on.
been here today, but he's in Paris right now playing.
Yeah.
He was balling yesterday. I think he was balling.
And
He was
today
up
he's
good.
playing right now for Spacers again, trying to get a second win in Paris in an NBA team.
Yeah, yesterday he dropped a good 30 and 12.
Something,
and
yeah.
How do you think that
5.
fit in with CP3 for that? Because I know CP3
Solid.
It was
So-
very solid.
yeah.
Like the pickup of CP2 is very solid.
they're reminiscent of like Lob City with like Blake Griffin and DeAndre Jordan kind of reference. But this is like just a cheat code. This is a cheat code.
Yeah, I mean, Wemby isn't that
Flashy.
flashy and athletic as DeAndre Ayton and Blake,
Yeah, there's a lot.
but it's still like a good
Lob
center.
City's Lob City.
Yeah.
All right, finally, we're going to finish off with the minutes. Mikal Bridges, 38.6 minutes per game. Give this man a break. Please.
Tom Thibodeau,
Yeah.
bro. He just,
Please, bro. Please. Have the last couple of players just been from Tom Thibodeau's team?
yeah.
Yeah.
It's always him. It's
Yeah.
always him.
This guy needs to
Never
turn
not.
on fatigue in 2K, what was it, whatever game he plays. And finally, our favorite stat of the season, turnovers. Now, James Harden has been the reigning champ for the last
James
two
Harden is
episodes.
a goat. No, no.
Yeah. James, you want to come to the podcast? Let me know. We have space for your beard and yourself. Regardless, unfortunately, he's been dethroned for our turnovers.
Unfortunately,
Today, we have a new turnover leader. Are we ready?
that's a lot.
That is a lot for a new turnover from the Detroit Pistons. Detroit Pistons.
Yes.
From the Detroit Pistons. I got confused with the jerseys. Anyways,
Yes.
from the Detroit Pistons, we have Cade Cunningham as our turnover leader. Let's go. Clap it up. Let's go. We're D1 haters. Anyways, he had 4.7 turnovers for Cade. Now, obviously, turnovers, not the worst stat to have. I
Or does
understand.
not have handles.
Bro, the thing is, if you're
But-
holding the rock that often, you're going to turn over. That is, right? But
You gotta realize that when you do turnover, it's also steal. So if the other person gets a steal, you just get turnover. This is like a better defender who's
It
guarding
is,
you,
yeah.
So
it's really just a matter of matchups, right?
it's not like he's just throwing the ball away. It's
No.
because like it's defense is playing good defense, and they're stealing the ball
We gotta
away from him
recognize
more
that. We
than
gotta
like
recognize it.
James Harden.
Yeah, this guy just,
Yeah.
regardless. So that wraps up stat sweep. Stick around for next week where we kind of go over that again. If there's any more stats you guys want us to include, like the over-under or was it plus minus, whatever it may be, let us know in the comments. Or
3-point percentage.
3-point percentage, we can talk about that too. Give us a shout on Instagram, either with DMs or our polls, or put in the comments below. Finally, to wrap off our Stats Central here, we have the All-Star Game announcement. So, Hamza, you can start off with that.
All right, so All-Star game, right? All-Star starters have been announced. So we'll start off with the West and East starters. So for the West, we have LeBron, Curry, KD, Jokic, and SGA, right?
That's disgusting. That's disgusting.
Unbelievable.
That's insane.
But don't start there. Don't. It's not done yet. It's not
Okay.
done yet. For the East, we have Giannis. Okay, 2 Knicks players, Kid Kat, and Jalen Brunson. And then we have Donovan Mitchell, and last, Jason Tatum.
Very solid.
Which is
Now,
solid.
how is the? I know you talked about it. You did a little bit of research into it, but how is the draft going? Is it? I know you mentioned Shaq and Chuck and all that kind of stuff.
So how it goes around this time? They're switching it up. It's not East versus West anymore. They're trying to make it more engaging for the fans and more entertainment. So they're gonna do a tournament style. So you have 10 starters and you have 14 reserves, and 14 reserves include Wemby, Anthony Edwards, LaMelo Ball, right? So we're gonna John Morant, right? So they're gonna take those 24 players and they're gonna do a draft. Shaq, Charles Barkley, and Kenny the Jet Smith, right? Those 3 are gonna be GMs, right? The GMs are gonna choose 8 players for their team, and they're gonna play against each other. And then the 4th team in the tournament will be the Rising Star team that wins in their Rising Star tournament over there as well. So it'll pretty much be like veterans versus like rookies essentially. So first we got how the tournament looks. So we have 2 teams playing at one time and 2 teams playing on the opposite time. And so the team that gets to 40 first wins, right? And there's no timer, there's no clock.
So basically, Black Top in 2K.
Yeah, pretty much.
Is there a shot clock or no?
There is shot clock, but there's no like actual timer. There's no time limit. But it's giving more competition, right? It's inciting more competition. Where it's like, okay, first team to 40. If you don't get to 40, you just lose, right?
Yeah.
You wanna try your hardest and win. But if you win those games, like your preliminary games, you don't get All-Star MVP. That does not matter at that point. But when you can do the finals, right? It's like a NBA Cup. It's like NBA Finals. So when you have an All-Star Finals, whoever wins between the 2 teams, 240 still, will win All-Star, and then they'll get MVP whoever wins because contributed the most, right?
Thank you for the
That's
breakdown.
a nice format that they chose. this
It's
year.
interesting. I'm glad they're changing it because I know the All-Star Game has been problematic in the last couple of years.
No defense.
I know the OGs or the old heads are like, oh, it's not as competitive, and that's true. It's right. I'm with the old heads, bro. Like I agree. Like it's not as like I see the highlights from the old All-Star games, like in the '90s and stuff like that. And I'm like, this was tough. This was nice.
2016, I can't lie. 2016.
Even then, there's like even before then though, it was like it wasn't competitive. That was just fun. So having that kind of new competitive style, I don't think it's gonna make a groundbreaking difference, but I think it'd be more fun to watch. What I want to see different though is I want to see something like a kind of a one-on-one tournament or a sports tournament.
that'd be
I think
nice.
that'd be really really fun. Maybe instead of like a skills challenge, I'd want that instead. Because I see someone like KD or like Kyrie. I want to say Kyrie, but I don't think he has a defensive capabilities to kind of like hold down LeBron or whatever. But that'd be really fun to have like a 2-on-2 or 1-on-1 king score type tournament.
Yeah. So some more info. So dunk contest, right? They haven't released any names yet, but some players that are like looking into it are like Mac McClung again, back to back to back.
3-peat, trying to go for 3-piece.
Yeah, and then we got some. Zion wanted to do it a while ago, but I don't know anymore, right? He was looking into it a while ago, but me personally, I kind of want Anthony Edwards to do it because he's good.
Just like that.
He's like that. And I feel like some of the rookies are gonna be in it too, like more of the rookies into it, rather than veterans. Is rookies.
It's just nuts, right? That's what it is, right? And like nuts and kind of flashiness. And a lot of the veterans don't have that.
Yeah.
Wait, so how does the draft work? Like, because there's 10 starters, but there's only 3 teams. So how does that work?
So it's 24 in total. You have 10 starters and 14 reserves, and the reserves will be announced, I think, next Thursday, January 30th, right? And so they're gonna take all of those, and on February 6th, so Charles Barkley's, Kenny, and Shaq will go in and each choose one player from each. So essentially, whoever has the first pick in the starters draft won't have the first pick in the
reserves.
Because they'll go like one starter, next starter, and you'll eventually have like 9, and then whoever gets the last pick is.
Got it. Makes sense. Yeah.
That'd be interesting. Who do you guys think each person is gonna pick? I know Shaq is probably gonna choose Giannis.
Yes.
I know because Shaq is called Giannis the closest thing to Shaq in today's NBA. Then
Right.
Kenny and we have Chuck.
You gotta realize there's LeBron, there's Curry, there's KD. Yo,
I
these
think
names are
that's
crazy.
just
Shaq's probably
statement.
gonna take LeBron because
Yeah.
It depends on who gets first pick. Oh, true. There's that too. I
Lakers
feel like Jet's gonna
connection.
choose like Curry or something. I don't know.
They're gonna choose the bigs first. That's my opinion.
Yeah, because I feel like the bigs today's game is not very like a big dominant thing, right? Like even the bigs are kind of small still compared to like Hakeem and Wilt and all that stuff. Obviously they're tall, but they're not really big. Like look at Wilt, no Wilt, 1B and all that. But that'll be interesting. I think we'll do something a little bit special around that time. Probably have a couple more episodes where we do short form content for y'all. But yeah, for All Star Games, thank you, Hudson, for the updates. Anything else you guys want to add for that?
Does anyone think there's any like people who got snubbed from the starters?
That's a good point because who
Anthony Edwards.
Anthony.
I think
LaMelo.
Wembanyama.
LaMelo Ball is a good one.
I think Wembanyama, he should win KD's spot. Or for
'Cause
Tatum, it should have been.
A lot of people were saying that like a lot of times legacy is included into it rather than just like the current season, which I agree. It should just be for the current season because it should be rewarding the players who are doing well that season.
LaMelo averages like 29.
Yeah.
LaMelo's like playing like he's in high school right again.
Yeah, but you guys remember that just the players don't choose it, right? So the people who choose who the starter is and who are
Fans.
media, fans, and then just like
the players.
yeah,
The players
fans
are
themselves.
excited. The thing is just a popularity contest, right? That's what it is at the end of the day.
There was actually talk about Bronny in the All Star.
Get out of here.
They're saying that there's gonna be like a skills challenge with LeBron and Bronny.
Oh, I can see that. That makes sense.
But they turn it down.
Yeah, they turned it down. Bronny was actually going to be in like the Rising Stars, but he turned that down as
Yeah.
well. So.
Yeah, that's just the sell tickets, right? So, Ronnie, if you're coming on the show,
No, he
we'll
dropped a
see.
good 32 points.
30,
Did he?
Yeah, 30 on 32 yesterday, I think.
Really?
In G League, he dropped a good
Yeah,
30.
and like a monstrous poster.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully that development goes well for him because I could see him do like he's good. But the thing is, he's LeBron's son,
Yeah.
right? So you're not gonna live up to
Not
the legacy. Regardless, what we'll do is we'll bring some hot takes for these All-Star games specifically a little bit closer to that. Do we have a date for that yet? I think that needs
All-Star game is
16th or something.
Yes.
So, yeah.
So
close
around
to that.
mid-February, right?
It's usually what you do.
Yeah. Well, we'll try to think of something new. If you guys have ideas what you want to see, let us know. And it's in San Francisco. I miss it in Toronto, but we should watch that game. We're also like way younger. We're like 10 years younger at that time, or 9, I guess. But we're gonna watch that
It
game.
is what it is.
It is what it is. You know, we can't go back. Hopefully, they come to Toronto again soon. But that wraps up Stat Central and our All-Star coverage for today. We're going to go on to our interactive segment where we take a look at your hot takes and your star bench cuts and the topics that you guys presented last week and this week as well. So stay tuned for that. Welcome back from the break, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our interactive segment. We decided to call it People's Choice because you are the people and this is your choice of what we talk about. So starting off, we kind of missed it last week, so we apologize for that. So we've included that today, as well as a couple of takes from this week as well. So a bit of a lengthier section. Let's get started. What I'll do, we'll do a rapid fire section, and we'll talk about a couple of them a little bit later. So you're either going to agree or disagree, and we're going to kind of go through all of them, and we'll pick a couple to talk about in more detail. Sounds good? All right, first one here. Shai Azora. Not a hot take.
Not a hot take.
All right. Anthony Edwards over John Morant. SGA is on a generational run.
Yeah.
He agrees as well. Russ is getting his first chip this season. Once again, Shai's aura. Guys, it's not a hot take.
Constantly. Well,
Kyrie and Luka are bad.
Yeah. No.
And finally, OKC is winning the chip this season. It's contradictory to my point with Russell Westbrook.
Yeah.
I'll go with yes. I guess I contradict. And finally, we have a star bench cut. Actually, 2 star bench cuts that we'll talk about after we discuss. All right, first topic. We just know Shai Azora. We need to talk about his generational run. He's on a very clear winning streak, making a really strong case for MVP this season.
Yeah.
Doing really well with not just points, but having team chemistry. We talked about a lot of that in the past segments as well as a couple of last 2 weeks as well.
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel that team, especially with the Cavs and the Raptors and all these younger teams, they have that close-in chemistry. There's no kind of locker room drama. There's nothing that's kind of making an issue for them. And I feel like that's huge. And having that kind of tight-knit community is huge for winning games. So kind of going into OKC winning a chip, I think that's not a hot take either. You guys agree or disagree with that one?
I agree with
I think it's mild.
Mild?
Yeah, I agree with that. It's mild. It's like it's possible. I'm not saying it's not possible.
Who do you think is? Because I feel like we're too like invested into these games that I genuinely have no idea who's going to win the chip.
I think Nuggets can
Yeah.
have it back to back.
The Nuggets, yeah, they're 4th place, but I don't think they can beat the Rockets, OKC.
I don't think Rockets are making it further than the first round in the playoffs. I'm
They're
just saying
second in the West.
that doesn't mean anything.
But they have
another
must-
hot take.
For them to be second.
Or Rockets making it into the playoffs. Yes or
Yeah,
no?
they'll make it in the
Oh,
playoffs.
They'll
what's-
make
what's-
it, but they won't make it past.
They
second
will make it past the first round.
Are they making it past the first round? Yes or no?
No, they're not making it.
Not
past
the second round though. If it's second round,
Second
then-
round.
Second, I got them at second round.
Okay.
They're not making it even further than that. They're not even close.
Were they in the playoffs last year too?
No.
No, this year they're on second West.
I'm telling you, Nuggets can like smoke the
Well,
Rockets.
the
They're
Nuggets,
nothing.
the Nuggets haven't changed their roster too much either. I know
They have Russ. Russ is honestly, he's almost beating his record for triple doubles while on the bench.
That's insane.
While on the bench,
That's insane.
that you have to realize how hard that is.
That is insane. Coming on the bench, and I feel same thing we talked about before. It's just a matchup game, right? It's just a matchup game. If you can have someone like Russ who has the intensity, who has kind of the drive and stuff like that, to really kind of lock up the other players, like or the other team's best kind of player, that makes a huge difference, right? Because then Jokic can actually do his job of facilitating the game, and all the other scorers like Gordon and all that kind of stuff can really kind of spread the floor.
Each player
You know,
is a one puzzle piece for the team.
Exactly. So I don't think it's a crazy take. I think saying it, Russ winning his first chip is insane given his kind of history with OKC and all these other teams. But I think it's a very solid take. I think that they have a really strong contention to win that game, or to win the chip. The only issue I have with that is just that if you look at the matchups, OKC is very well kind of stacked as well. They have a very solid, deep lineup. A lot of the guys are young, so the conditioning is going to be good overall. Not to say the older guys don't have good conditioning; they're all very great athletes. But overall, it's more so just a matter of matchups, right? Is Chet going to be able to kind of match up with Jokic? Who's going to be guarding Shea? Who's going to be kind of doing all this stuff? So it's really the size. Yeah. But overall, solid take. I think Russ has a strong contention to win that chip. Bringing that to kind of older players, Kyrie and Luka, they're getting some heat of being bad. I don't think they're bad players. I think they had better seasons, but I don't think they're bad
I
players.
only said they're bad together because I haven't been able to see how many games with them together. Because either Kyrie's out with an injury or Luka's out with an injury, you can't really say anything yes or no without seeing them play properly together.
I agree with that. I saw a game the other day where it was Kyrie, Luka was in there, and Kyrie was playing very well. So I mean, they're good players, but we just haven't seen them enough to be together, right?
Sample size not big enough. You're right.
Yeah.
That's a solid point. And I guess if we had to really like look at the team, because I know when the trade happened, a lot of people were like, "Oh, it's not going to work because they're ball heavy." Even though they're kind of like ball dependent, both of them, I think they work really well because they have that chemistry. They have that kind of like love for each other, right, as teammates. And I feel like it can work out. We just need to see more games to actually get that. And we'll keep a close eye on that for next week too.
Yeah.
Another hot take here. We talked a lot about these two players, Anthony Edwards and John Morant. The take itself was Anthony Edwards is a better player. It just said greater than John Morant. I don't think that's a crazy take, and that's just not because John's not a good player. But I think Anthony Edwards, if I had to choose a player to build a team around, it would be Edwards, given his killer instinct, given all this stuff. And we talked a lot about this at the beginning of the episode as well. Just because, one, I feel like he's more well-rounded, and I feel like especially in like a game like basketball that's so physical, you need that bigger frame, kind of that bigger size. And I don't know, it's not a huge size difference, but it is commanding compared to John Morant, right?
I'll hot take really. I agree with that.
Okay, now moving on to our Starch Men cuts. Once again, thank you for all the hot takes. Please make sure to share them more on Instagram. We'll kind of put out more frequency so you guys have more ideas to think about. Here is a really interesting one. This comes from one of our friends on Instagram. Start bench cut based on Raptors legacy. Chris Bosh, DeMar DeRozan, and Kyle Lowry. So I want you to really think before you answer that, because it's not really the better player. It's associated with the player based on their legacy.
Okay, quick question. Since DeMar was traded for Kawhi, does that count on his legacy? Because he's like, oh my god, DeMar DeRozan, he got traded, and that was his legacy.
That's not
Kawhi.
his legacy, bro. Don't disrespect DeMar like that. That's not his legacy. I'll touch on that a little bit. But the way we'll do it before we have that after that discussion is, I'm gonna say start. Everyone's gonna say they're starting. Then we'll go to bench, and we'll talk about cut.
All right.
In terms of legacy, I just mean their contributions to the game, right? Unfortunately, a lot of people see DeMar DeRozan as only someone who got traded for Kawhi. But if you look at pre-2019, 2018 season, he had fundamental kind of role on that game, right? He had a fundamental role with Kyle Lowry, kind of leading that team. And obviously, I'm not saying it's the coaching's fault, but they had a very different play style than they do now. It was really ISO heavy, which I wasn't a fan of. You guys know I love that kind of passing and all the assists and stuff like that. But it's very ISO heavy, especially down the stretch. And
they had the verse LeBron.
Exactly.
Else every single time.
Exactly.
So,
LeBron's crazy. Don't say that.
It was a no brainer that they lost.
It's just a tough matchup. You don't have anyone to guard him, right? Because
LeBron.
you need someone like Serge Ibaka size, but you also need someone quick like Lowry, and that's kind of the roughness on that. So yeah, exactly. That's kind of the missing piece. So I don't want to say that DeRozan's legacy is just that we traded him for Kawhi, but unfortunately, I do agree. A lot of people think of that. But with that, who are we starting?
Kyle Lowry.
Kyle Lowry?
Yeah.
Arguably, I agree. I think Kyle Lowry would be the best championship on the Raptors. Just a leader overall, right? He puts his body on the line, great at taking charges. Overall, can score when needed, and he's a great facilitator overall. I don't think that's a crazy pick. For your bench, who are you choosing?
Chris Bosh.
Bosh?
DeRozan.
DeMar.
I think I'd probably go with DeMar too. Because I'm just familiar with Bosh's.
Why did you choose
legacy.
Bosh?
Two reasons. Because Bosh was one of the first top picks other than Vince Carter in the 2003 NBA draft. Another thing was he averaged like his first 5 or 10,000 points on the Raptors, and that was only in like a short period of time from like 2003 to like 2010 when he went left to go to Miami.
Yeah, it makes sense. He did give him like hype, right? He gave the Raptors hype and gave him like notice that they were
He's a real team, yeah.
So,
the reason I chose DeMar is just because I feel like it's a power up for Kyle Lowry and have DeMar on the same team. I feel like they just make each other better. I think overall I would want DeMar coming off the bench just because of that factor. And I love DeMar's like play style too. I feel like he's just so smooth with it, with his mid range and all his footwork and stuff like that. Really respect that. You guys agree?
no, I'm gonna switch to Bosh.
You can switch to Bosh? Right?
Yeah, Bosh.
Bosh is better. It just not better in terms of like Raptors legacy wise. He made him known. He he made them known, right? Him and Vince were like, let's make this team known. DeMar was like in that middle area where it's like,
No, you're disrespecting. You don't
I'm
understand
not-
how good DeMar
I'm
DeRozan
not-
was.
we're not talking about how good he is. We're talking
my
about
God.
we're talking about
Oh
his
my
legacy.
God.
Did they even accomplish anything when he was playing?
Yes,
What?
They only got to as far as Eastern Conference final. Like I don't know.
They were
I mean,
facing
they-
prime LeBron.
Yeah,
bro.
so
like,
it doesn't matter.
But they
though,
were
in
getting
terms
like first, second round exits.
in
playoffs.
in terms of legacy
Alright,
wise, Bosch had a better legacy impact for like the league in general because he made the Raptors known.
Like
DeMar
the
DeMar was
six,
in that middle area where the team was known but didn't win as many games as they could. Right? They were losing to the Washington Wizards. Anyways, and
bro, let's just watch that game.
and then Larry was fundamental. He was with DeMar, he was with Kawhi, he was with them after too, and they're doing pretty good. And they won a championship, so it's like
Larry the longest. I think the longest.
you got-
Larry with the Raptors.
yeah, you gotta start Larry,
That's not
bench,
crazy.
Bosch,
If
and
you're going off
cut
legacy.
DeMar. Because it's not like DeMar's a bad player. I love playing with DeMar.
No, you're talking about legacy. You're right.
Well,
That's-
legacy
that's-
based.
What are your thoughts on that?
Keep in mind DeMar at the bench.
Yeah, and Ken Bosch. I can see your point for legacy, but I want DeMar on the bench.
If
Because-
this
because-
was just other way around, which there wasn't no legacy involved, then
Yeah.
I would have put DeMar on the bench.
Cut Larry and then put
Yeah.
Bosch. That's the,
Not
but
crazy.
it's legacy based.
That's
It's
what I
not.
That's
Alright.
fair. And the final star bench cut, we have all primes, Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, and who's the last one? Shea.
Alright.
Kawhi,
Hmm.
Paul George. Okay. Okay.
So
So,
starting, who are we starting?
Kawhi.
Kawhi. Easily,
Prime
Kawhi.
Prime.
easily Kawhi.
he locks up everyone. There's
Who
no-
are we benching? I think this is where it gets interesting.
This is like
We're thinking primes. So I don't even know if we've seen Shea's
So-
prime.
Prime
I don't
PG
think
was
so.
MVP caliber PG on the OKC Thunder. He was MVP caliber along with Russell Westbrook.
Can you imagine those two on the same team
I
with
know, right?
Kawhi Leonard and Paul George on the same
It did not end up well at all. Not at all.
James Harden, Kawhi Leonard, and Russell Westbrook,
Yeah.
Paul George.
Because I don't think that's like
Norman
necessarily.
Powell.
Norman Powell's been talking about Norman Powell. He's been huge in
Yeah.
the last couple games for Clippers and
he
stuff like that.
was like 9th in the All Star voting
Yeah,
the West. Like that's crazy.
it's insane. I'm glad he's getting recognition. Regardless, focusing up. So I'm starting Kawhi, no doubt about it.
Kawhi.
I might put just because I'm an old head among status. I'm putting Paul George on the bench.
I agree with that.
Shea, whoever maybe how you pronounce it. I'll Google it after. I think his prime is still yet to come. I think he's just
Yeah.
starting up. So that's the only reason I cut him just for now. Because I think he can have like a major
Yeah,
impact.
I
but
agree with that for now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
I don't think it's a crazy take.
Everyone agree? Start Kawhi, bench PG, and cut.
yeah.
For now, that,
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So once again, thank you for all of the hot takes, the star bench cuts, and all the interesting topics you may have. Once again, we'll put that up on our Instagram, but don't be scared to put down in the comments of your hot takes. If you want to keep it anonymous, send us a DM, and we will make sure to do that for you too, because we don't want to start any fights with your friends. Next week, we'll be covering some of our topics as well, but be sure to add yours as well. With that, let's move on to the final segment, Draft Wars. So stay tuned after the break. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to arguably the greatest section of all podcast history. World renowned for its ability to stir conversation and spark debates. Welcome to Draft Wars. Today we have an interesting section. Today's game is a point guard game. And we know point guards have a fundamental impact on the game as distributors of the ball, facilitators of the game, and scorers. That's why we wanted to honor them today with making a top five, a starting five, with only point guards of all time in their primes. Let's get started, ladies and gentlemen. Let's do it.
Oh yeah.
So, just to keep it equal, just make sure we spice it up a little bit. This week, I will be getting first pick. We're going to move down this way, and I'm almost going to get 2 picks at the end. That way, we're going to continue moving down the list, so different people get first picks, and we keep it interesting. So,
Alright.
let's get started. We're going position-based. You cannot move the position once the position has been established. With my first pick, on January 25th, 2025, the number 1 pick of the Draft Wars for our only point guards division. One of the greatest point guards of all time. He is so versatile, great at passing the ball, and possibly a center as well.
It's him. It's him.
It's him. His name is Magic Johnson,
Ooh.
and he will be playing my center for our first draft pick.
Solid pick. Solid pick.
That was it. Your turn.
All right, so point guard. My point guard. Good.
Point guard of the point guards. Okay.
Point guard of the point guard. Mr. 3 points.
Mm.
Mr. Cooking. Stephen Curry.
Makes sense. That checks out.
Yeah.
That checks out. That's a
Yeah.
solid pick. That's a solid pick. For what? You got
So-
one pick.
For my small forward, Mr. Triple Double
Mm.
used to be triple double. Back Bucks legend, Mr. Big O, Oscar Robertson.
Oh, I thought we
Somebody was
didn't.
saying Russ.
Yeah, I heard it's a triple double. That's crazy. Okay,
That's a crazy.
that's a good pick.
That's
That's a good
crazy.
pick. That's your number one pick there too. Okay,
Alright, so
you got 2 picks here for what, Emma?
I'll take the point guard with point guards first. I'll go with CP3,
Ooh.
Mm.
Chris Paul.
That's a good pick.
That's a solid pick.
You want to circle?
Solid pick.
CP3, and then your second pick.
Shooting guard. Yeah. So for shooting guard, we'll go with D Rose.
Man,
come
get
on,
outta here.
Mr. Vertical.
D Rose, prime D Rose, man. Prime D Rose.
Solid,
Biggest what
solid.
if. Biggest what if.
Come on.
Alright,
man.
your turn.
Alright, I cheated a little bit. That's why your sheet, but you already filled that position. For my power forward, we always need size in a game where we're just choosing point guards. I choose someone who's established, someone who is definitely bigger than a lot of the other guys, and someone who brings the intensity. With that, we're staying with the Magic theme. We're gonna go with Luka as my point for our power forward.
Luka Magic.
Luka Magic with Magic Johnson.
Alright.
That's
Alright, so for my shooting guard, right? Point guard, shooting guard, right? He's on the logo. He is on the logo.
Oh.
Mr. Jerry.
That guy's automatic was in 2K, bro. That's a crazy pick. Very solid pick.
Alright.
I'm judging anything of that.
So, for my shooting guard position, I'm gonna take Isaiah Thomas.
Prime Isaiah Thomas.
Which one? Which one are we talking about?
No, the
Celtics?
Celtics or
Celtics or the
No.
Detroit one?
Pistons.
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 OG Isaiah Thomas.
Okay.
The bad boys Isaiah Thomas.
Yes,
Okay,
yes,
okay,
yes,
okay. Very solid
Very
pick.
solid pick.
That's a solid pick. I'm liking these OG picks from you. It's a very insightful conversation.
Because the young ones are not that versatile.
Mm.
They're like, yeah.
Alright, so I get one, right? So I'll
Yes,
go to the small forward. I'll take Damian Lillard.
That's a solid pick.
A small forward?
That's bro. Who else is you gonna put a small forward, bro?
Fair point.
Who are you gonna put? I chose the bigs already.
Fair point.
Right? And just keep in mind, we're choosing players that have majority played point guard for their career. None of us are going to choose LeBron as much as we want to
Yeah.
because he hasn't played point guard for the majority of his career. All right, moving on to my pick.
Yep.
I think I'm going to go with someone who's kind of able to kind of stretch the floor a little bit. Right?
How many bigs do you need?
Someone who's not really recognized in today's league. Any guesses?
No.
We're going to go with a shooting guard position of, drum roll please, LeBron James. No, no, I'll go with Shea. I'm surprised that hasn't been taken.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
right.
as my
Yeah,
PG.
point guard.
PG.
Alright.
That's cheap.
So for my center, right, I'm surprised. Well, a lot of people don't know him. He's a bust, right? You can't keep a bust. But as a point guard, he's a bust as a point guard. But you play him as anything else, he's fine. So we're gonna take
Oh no.
Mr. Controversial, the Australian dude, Ben Simmons at my center.
Does he play point guard?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's been playing point guard. He's 6'10",
Oh,
playing point guard,
okay.
Yeah.
but
Solid
he
pick.
cannot shoot.
Solid pick. That's a solid
So
pick.
he's my center.
Solid pick.
All right. So for my point guard position, I'm gonna take Mr. AI Allen Iverson.
Oh, solid
Solid,
pick.
solid.
Solid pick. I'm
Solid
proud of
pick.
you for that pick.
Crazy.
I'm mad I didn't get to choose that. Ooh, you got on this.
Hey, don't look at his list.
Alright.
Alright, for my power forward position, I'll take from the Magic. From Orlando, we'll take Penny Hardaway.
No!
Solid pick.
No!
Well done, sir. Well done.
No!
Very solid pick. That is A very solid pick.
Why?
You know,
The size.
I'm surprised
Why?
no one's taken this player. But for my small forward, I'm choosing the true Mr. Triple Double.
Oh yeah.
Mr. Rim Terrorizer. Mr. I'm a dunk on your head. Mr. Russell Westbrook.
Westbrook.
Yo.
Mary, you gotta watch your mouth, boy.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
So that was for my small forward position. Okay.
Okay. So I guess for my small forward position, we'll choose to combat everyone else's small forward position. We'll take Drew Holiday.
Solid pick. Solid pick. Defensive possession. Very nice pick.
Okay. For my center position, I'm gonna be taking Mr. Gary Payton.
Ooh, good pick, good pick, good pick.
I feel like I beat you guys on this draft, I'm not gonna lie, with my first pick.
Alright, so I need a center.
I was gonna choose Muggsy Bogues.
Yo, great pick. You did a great pick. You cannot
I
argue.
might
with
have
that.
to.
You cannot argue with that.
Is your last pick or?
Is this everyone's last pick?
Yes.
Yeah.
Alright, go ahead.
I'll go with center, my last pick. He's shorter, but Kyrie.
Kyrie, solid pick, solid pick. All right, my last pick is my shooting guard position. I obviously need a shooter, obviously. We're gonna have to choose someone who is pretty consistent overall. Can make sure he's kind of moving around. Who we're gonna go with? A little bit flashy, probably a little bit controversial, but I think it'll be a fun pick, especially for this team.
Yes.
Ready for this?
Yeah.
You ready?
Yeah.
He doesn't know. I don't know. I was gonna say LaMelo Ball, but now I don't want LaMelo Ball.
He has said LaMelo Ball.
No, I'm not saying LaMelo Ball.
LaMelo Ball.
Alright, fine. I'll put LaMelo Ball. Is he even
6'7".
He's not
He
good.
is fine.
Alright, fine. He's 6'7"?
Yeah.
I'll put LaMelo Ball. Yeah.
He's got-
6'7".
LaMelo
Alright.
Ball.
So for my last pick, right at my power forward position, I'm surprised he hasn't been chosen yet. Ant-Man.
Oh.
He's not a point guard. He's not a point guard.
He is.
He's not a point guard.
Yeah, he
Shooting
is.
guard.
No, he's.
He's not a point guard. I would have taken Anthony
I'm
Edwards.
telling you.
He's not a point guard. Google it right now.
Google it right now.
Let me get it.
No,
He's a
I'm-
point guard.
Yeah, I got it.
He's a point guard. I'm telling you.
He's not a point guard.
I'm telling you, he's a point guard.
What position does Anthony and Edwards play? Shooting guard. Shooting guard. Shooting guard. Lane's got shooting guard. We're fine. We're good. We're good. We're good. Choose a different player, boy.
Okay. Alright, Mister, I won't dunk anymore. I won't dunk anymore. Ja Morant.
Very solid pick. I would choose Edwards if I was allowed, but that would be an easy shooting guard position.
Okay,
All right,
fine.
fine. Last pick.
With the last pick in the draft.
Guys searching top 10. Let me see your phone. Let me show you top 10. No,
he was checking the heights of players.
bro, if you're trying to find a center, you're not beating my guys. He's Luka. Luka's pretty big, no?
Luka's shorter than. Luka's
Hey, listen, bro. Magic is gonna.
6'4", maybe?
For my power forward position, I'm gonna be taking Jamal Murray.
Yeah, solid pick.
Solid pick. The point guards, you can't really go wrong with that. All right, so that wraps up Draft Wars. We are actually interested to see if you would be interested in watching simulations of these games on Blacktop on 2K. So if you're interested, add that to the comments. We'll talk over our teams one more time. Vamo, give us your top 5 for the all-time point
Alright,
guards.
so I got for point guard we got CP3, shooting guard we got D Rose, small forward we got Damian Lillard, power forward Penny Hardaway, and center we got Kyrie.
Very nice. For my starting 5, I got Shea. We got SGA for PG. We have LaMelo Ball as my shooting guard. I did not know he was that big. Small forward, we got Mr. Triple Double, Westbrook. Moving on, we have power forward, Luka Magic. And finally, center. I got the greatest pick. I'm not gonna lie. Magic Johnson.
You may have
I won.
You may have got the best team.
I did.
But for my team, we have Mr. Steph Curry,
That's
right?
a solid pick.
Jerry West as shooting guard, Drew Holiday as small forward. We can lock up Russ. Curry can outshoot Jai.
Bro, just tell us your players.
LaMelo Ball. Jerry West is outshooting LaMelo. Power forward, right? We have John Morant. I will lose. And then center Ben Simmons, which is worse than Friday, but it's fine.
Alright, for my starting 5 at point guard, I got Mr. AI, Allen Iverson. Alright. Shooting guard, I got Mr. OG Isaiah Thomas Pistons.
Nice.
For small forward, I got Mr. Big O Oscar Robertson. For power forward, I got Jamal Murray. For center, I got Gary Payton Sr.
All right, so let us know who you think has the best team in the comments. What we'll do is we'll do a 2K simulation where we kind of record that. So stay tuned for that. I'm not really sure when we'll release that, but let us know in the comments if you're interested in seeing that. Overall, beautiful episode. Thank you so much for joining us, everyone. We can't thank you enough for all the support we receive and all the love we get online. And we really look forward to seeing you guys next week. So once again, thank you for joining us and take care.